All right, Algebra Semester 1 review, numbers 41 through 50. All right, let's look at 41. For these, we are stating the domain and the range. Well, first, let's look at problem A, and we see that we've got a discrete graph. Discrete means that you're just going to find points. So let's identify those points. The first point, starting on the left, is -5, -2. And then the second point is 1, 1. And then the third point is 3, -2. So remember, domain are your x values, the range are your y values. So right here for our domain, we would have -5, 1, and 3. And then for the range, we would have, range would be our y's, we've got -2, and 1. The -2 repeats, but you don't have to repeat it when you're listing the range. Now letter B. Okay, this is a continuous graph, so our domain and our range is going to look a little bit different than what it did in problem A. So remember, again, the domain are your x values. So you're going from, looking at your x's, we're going from 0 to 60. So I always like to start with the lowest number, and that's 0 is less than or equal to, I'm going to use x here, is less than or equal to 60. And then the range, we're going from the low to the high, and it's going all the way up to this number right here, which is 400. So that would be 0 is less than or equal to, y is less than or equal to 400. All right, looking at graph C. Okay, our domain, remember looking at your x's for the domain, so that's left to right. And with a parabola, it keeps going out as it's going down or up. So our domain for this one would be all real numbers. And our range would be, well, we notice that all of the graph is 5 or lower. So we would say our range is y is less than or equal to 5. Number 42, match the graph in its absolute max or absolute min. So absolute max means it's the highest point on the graph. Okay, so we're looking for the highest point on the graph and then the lowest point on the graph. Okay, so let's look at this first one over here, and we see that the highest point is right here, which is 10. So it's got a maximum of 10, which is S. It also has a minimum point right here, G, of 1. So minimum point would be N. So this one has S and N. And now looking at the next graph, we see that it's got a minimum point right here, which is at -9. So minimum of -9 would be Q. And notice it doesn't have a maximum because these have arrows, so it keeps going up and up and up. So it never has a maximum point. All right, the graph right below it. Same thing with this one. It keeps going up and it keeps going down. So this doesn't have a maximum it doesn't have a maximum and it does not have a minimum. So this one would be T, no max, no min. All right, this one right here. As we see, they keep going up, so there's no maximum. And actually, this one is very difficult because this one, the district says that the answer is, the minimum is 0, but actually it never touches 0. So I actually disagree with this one. What the district says, I would personally say that it's T, no max and no min, but the district is saying that the minimum is 0. And I actually talked to a high school teacher and they agreed with me, saying that there's no max and no min. But the district is, for middle school, is saying that the minimum here is 0. But actually these are called asymptotes and they never touch 0. It just keeps getting closer and closer to 0, but doesn't actually touch it. So So hopefully you will not see that on your exam. 43. Select the correct equation for the transformation of the parent function. So our parent function here is f of x equals x squared. So now notice this one right here, the first one, it just moved up 3. So if it moves up or down, that's a plus 3 or a minus 3 outside of the parentheses. So since this one went up 3, it's going to be plus 3 outside of the parentheses. Okay, looking at the next one, it's going to the left 2. Now this one we do need parentheses, but whenever you've got the parentheses, it's the opposite of what you think. So because it went to the left 2, you would normally think minus 2. But remember I said it's the opposite, so this one's going to be plus 2. And then on the third graph, it went to the right 2, and left and right, to the right 1, and left and right, it's the opposite of what you think. So you would normally think plus 1, but it's the opposite of that, so it's going to be minus 1 inside the parentheses. So there's our answers for 43. 44, which order pair is a solution to the equation? Well, what you could do with these is just plug them in. So let's look at the first one. Remember, this is your x, this is your y. So I'm going to take 3. Does that equal 2 minus 5? Well, 2 minus 5 actually equals negative 3, so that's not our answer. Let's try the next one. 10 equals 2 minus 8. Well, 2 minus 8 is negative 6. Okay, the next one, 1 equals 2 minus negative 1. Well, 2 minus negative 1 is 3, so that doesn't work. And then the last choice there, I've got 7 equals 2 minus negative 5. Well, 2 minus negative 5 is 7, so D is our answer. Alright, on 45, we do the same thing that we did in the previous one. Just plug in the order pairs to see which one works. So for letter A, we would have negative 2 equals negative 6 times 12. We know that that's not true. The next one, we have negative 9 equals negative 6 times 3. Well, negative 6 times 3 is negative 18, not negative 9, so that one's wrong. Next one, 60 equals negative 6 times negative 10. Negative 6 times negative 10 is 60, so here is our answer, C. Number 46. A plumber charges $75 for a service call in addition to $20 an hour. What will be the total cost for a 3-hour repair call? Well, first of all, I'm going to start writing an equation for this. Not that you need to, but if this was a question where they said to write an equation, I want you to understand how to do that. So we know that it's $20 an hour, or per hour. So that's going to be $20 times our variable. We can use H for our variable. And then plus, they charge $75 just for the service call. Just for coming out there. And then that's going to equal your total cost. We'll put C for that. So first of all, that's your equation. And now it says, what is the total cost for 3 hours? So we're going to plug in 3 there, 20 times 3, and then plus the 75. And that's going to give us our total cost. So that's 60 plus 75, and that's 135. Equals your total cost. So that's how much, $135 for 46. Number 47. Let's see. The money that he saved in the first 3 months is shown. Tell which is the graph of this data. So, so basically we're just matching the table with a graph. So first thing that we want to notice is our first point here should be 0, 0, which is the origin. So I see this first one, it didn't start in the origin, so that one's out. The next one, the next point is 130. So 130 would be over 1, up 30. That one didn't hit it. Over 1, up 30, so B would be our answer. 48, find the slope of the line through 9, 4 and 0, 5. So these are the problems that I expect you all to definitely get right because we worked so hard with these. So we put those ordered pairs, line them up like that, and then subtract. 5 minus 4 is 1. 0 minus 9 is negative 9. And now you make sure that you put the right side over the left side, or your y's over your x's. So that's 1 over negative 9, which equals a negative 1/9. Next one, 49, same thing, line them up. 4, 6, and 4, 10. So that gives us 10 minus 6 is 4. 4 minus 4 gives us 0. 4 divided by 0, we can't do that. That is undefined. Or you can remember what I said in class, if the x's repeat, it's not a function, and it has an undefined slope. All right, our last question, we have 4, 6 and 5, 6. So we subtract here, that gives us 0. That gives us 1. 0 divided by 1 equals 0. So our slope here is 0. Also remember what I said in class, if the y's repeat, your slope is 0. It's a horizontal line and your slope is 0. So that's it from 41 to 50. If you have any questions, please let me know. Thank you.